Welcome to the United States of Paranormal Podcast. Sit down and buckle up for an enlightening ride through everything cryptid, creepy, and paranormal.
Hello, all my freaky paranormal friends out there. It is I, Golden Jay, and man, have we got a special treat for you tonight. I am joined as always with whoever. It's Alicia.
Hi, it's me.
We also are doing what I'm calling the crossover episode. We got the whole crew from Golden Image Podcast here. So the Skywalker's there, and of course, Chico Noise is right beside me. But most important of all is our special guest, Connor Biddle. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh man, we're having a great time. I think we got all of our little things fixed and we're ready to go. How about you? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Like I said, I just got up from a nap, so I'm ready to talk about ghost stories with you guys.
Perfect timing.
Well, we've been covering a lot of ghost stories lately with between the Team Booiser, as you can see on Alicia's shirt there.
Yep.
I love it.
She's got her Team Booiser shirt. And of course, Team Tejas down in Texas. A shout out to Logan, Matt, and Boze. But we're going to start by asking you. I don't even know. Skylar, what do you want to start off by asking?
Well, first of all, me and Connor went to high school together. I've known Connor for the better part of 15 years at this point.
Yes.
I want to start off by saying congratulations. I have spent the last 2 months watching all your YouTube videos, and I just finished the first book tonight because we've been trying to swap it around between all of us. Very, very good book.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Me personally, I loved the first book. Especially the last chapter in that book. I thought that was real, and I really just reading it, I felt like I really understood where you were coming from with all the stuff that you've done so far. So the first book was amazing. I loved it.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I had a lot of anxiety writing my first book, to be honest with you. I didn't know how people were gonna receive it and what my friends from high school would have thought, because a lot of it was in there from people I went to school with.
Right.
So let's get back to the book in just 1 second. Let's talk about your socials and the YouTube channel to start, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
So Paranormal Encounters is the brand.
Mm-hmm.
As of right not of right now, but earlier this week you had 37.2K subs with a total of 2.6 million views.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's kind of crazy, I guess. I never really anticipated this to be this far, I guess, when I first started doing it. It was just honestly just filming my experiences and just something I like doing. And then now it turned into something that's bigger than I thought it was going to be, So like 37,000 subscribers is, if you put that in perspective, that's bigger than the town of Bourbon. Bourbon is so small compared to that. It's kind of crazy to think that, it's like 10 times that of Bourbon, or if not more than that. And all those people are watching what I created 10 years ago.
Pretty wild.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
It is. Seriously, those are, for somebody I know personally, those are like really mind-blowing numbers. It's like, wow, 2.6 million views. That's a lot.
Who thought I'd be graduating high school and going ghost hunting?
Right.
The
Facebook is facebook.com/official paranormal encounters. Instagram is Paranormal Encounters TV. And then you guys use flow code, which is flowcode.com/page/paranormal encounters. So anybody who's listening, make sure you guys go check out all the socials and stay up to date with Connor.
So do you remember your first moment that something weird happened? Like, was it like when you were a child? Like your first paranormal experience?
Yeah, my first paranormal experience, I do remember. I don't remember it vividly, but I do remember that my first experience was when I was a kid. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I lived in West Goshen, Indiana. And I grew up in this house on Berkey Avenue in this white house, and it's pretty ominous as a kid. I remember the feeling of the house, and that I used to explore it a lot with my brother, and we would find weird things going on inside the house. And I was always big into Halloween, and it was just huge. It was a huge culture when I was growing up. And I remember my first paranormal experience I had was when my brother and I shared a room on the second floor, and I was scared of the dark, funny enough, back then. So like we always kept the door open with the hallway on. And my brother and I, like I said, shared a room, and his bed was directly across from mine. And I remember laying there one night, and he was already fast asleep, and I could see his bed while I was laying there. And then something weird happened. I had this like weird eerie feeling come over me, and I had seen this white like ping pong ball. That's the best I can really describe it. Come over my head and go down and underneath my brother's bed. It freaked me out so bad. I ran down the stairs. I told my parents. My mom and dad came upstairs. My brother was still asleep. My mom looked underneath the bed, and there was nothing underneath the bed, nothing that could have caused it. And my mom thought maybe I was just dreaming, and nothing really happened. But I remember clearly that I was awake trying to go to sleep that night, and I never really understood what happened, I guess, as a kid, until I got a little bit older. But that's probably like one of my first paranormal experiences I can remember, the earliest I can remember too.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So now let me get this. Like I said, it's been about a month since I read the book, so I'm trying to remember I remember that story being in the book. Did you like really start getting into it then when you started working at Bourbon Street, and that's when you kind of got that whole thing, or was it the Waverly trip? I'm trying to remember which came first.
It was the Waverly trip is what really kicked it off. I was working at Bourbon Street Pizza too, but the Waverly Hills is what happened the most, because when I was there, I actually talked to a ghost when I was there on a trip. I was on the tour on the second floor, and I actually caught my first EVPs there as well too when I was using my phone. I was into it then. I was huge into watching Ghost Adventures and all those paranormal shows. They were getting pretty popular in 2010, 2009, 2008 is when they really launched, and at Waverly Hills, I went down there with a couple of friends, and we wanted to do something like thrill seeking, I guess, because at that time, it's kind of funny, is Bourbon is a small town where there's many abandoned houses out in the middle of nowhere. You guys would know. And
Yeah.
we were into getting into those houses with some people, and just trying to scare ourselves, I guess, really. And then Waverly Hills, when we went down there over the summer, almost my senior year, we took a tour, and on the second floor of the shadow hallway, I was kind of talking, and I felt at that time, I think the tour guide kind of pointed me out and then had me walk down the hallway with this other person. He had like a plaid shirt on with a ball cap. And I remember she was talking about this hallway where you would see shadows if you walk down there, and it was really, really dark. And she had a laser pointer. She pointed down the hallway and told me to go walk down there until I got to the end of the laser. So I was walking down there, and I remember talking to this person, and he's just not really saying words. He's just saying a few things, like agreeing with me and stuff and nodding. And you couldn't really see him because the moonlight was just so dark. There's no lights in Waverly Hills. It's an old abandoned building. And I got down to the end of the hallway. I sort of lost track of where this guy was. He's supposed to be walking next to me, and I'm looking around and I don't see him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe it's just some guy who like took off, like he can't see us and he's just looking at this room near us or something. And I couldn't really see anybody in the back. So when I'm walking back, this guy wasn't with me, and I start talking to Alex and Neil, who was with us on this tour. And they told me I walked down there by myself, and it kind of freaked me out because I remember I was talking to this person, and this person was solid, and it's just kind of weird. And the story goes is there's a homeless guy with his dog that actually was breaking into Waverly Hills, and he fell down the elevator shaft and perished. And the way that they described it was exactly how this guy was that was standing next to me. So I think back then when I was on this tour, thinking back all these years ago, I was actually talking to that guy. So it's one of my.
Alicia, do you remember that guy's name? Was it Willie? Was it William?
I don't remember.
We just did an episode, and then of course we recorded over a month ago. I'm trying to remember, but
yeah,
that was one of
ago.
the really cool points. What the homeless guy that lived there that died in the elevator shaft, and the dog was what they really talked about being more visual. But when you say that, it's like, oh yeah, we just talked about that on the Waverly Hills story.
Yeah,
That's
it gives me chills thinking about it, because it's kind of really strange. It's one of our really weirdest experiences. First thing I really ever had happen to me. You know, it really sparked me wanting to try to go out and actually capture more of this or experience more of this kind of stuff.
So then we moved into you come back from Waverly and with Neil, and I it's funny because I'm reading your book and I'm like, I know Neil. I used to give Neil guitar lessons back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know if they know they're in the book or whatever, but
they do now.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I really liked Waverly Hills when I went back then. I had a lot of weird things happen to me. I had a lot of voice recordings. I was using my phone back then because I didn't have any ghost hunting equipment. So like capturing that stuff, and then I actually captured a dog in a photo, which I also believe was corresponding with that guy I just talked about too, where I think it was his dog, which is really weird. So I just felt like from that get-go, I just felt like I was really meant to go out and go seek it, because I was just having experiences left and right at each place I went to.
Right. Yeah, that's so then you're working at Bourbon Street and you hear about the attic. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and people were making fun of me at Bourbon Street because they were like just like teasing me about ghosts. I remember this guy named Joseph I used to work with. He would just try to open up the door, flicker the lights, just try to mess with me. I think he knew that the place was haunted, so he'd take a few trips up in the attic, which is supposedly supposed to be where it's supposed to be haunted. And that's actually where I captured an apparition figure walking across the night vision camera I had brought up there, which was my biggest, weirdest, unexplainable paranormal evidence I've ever captured to this day. I've still never have captured anything even close to anything like that.
Can you explain that video a little bit?
Yeah. So I never really had ghost hunting equipment. This was in June of 2011, which is funny, we're in June now. And yeah, so I went to Walmart and I bought this really cheap Vivitar night vision camera, really horrible quality. I'm talking like 360p quality, but that's all I had, you know? So I went up there a few times previously just with some friends, just trying to record some audio with Joseph. And this time I ended up going up there with Kyle, one of the people that worked there. And we went up there and they were kind of scared, but I really wanted to see if I could capture any voice recordings. At this time, I was already capturing a few voice recordings. I was whispering my name and making commentary to some stuff that I was saying up there with Joseph, which was really freaking freaky. It was like super clear EVPs that sound like literally there's a third person up there, but there wasn't. So I wanted to capture some EVPs up there with Kyle. And I went up there with this camera, and up there used to be a high-end clothing store. So it's kind of it still has some shelves and it has a bathroom that's up there still. And the bathroom has a room with a door you can actually go in and shut it. And I took that camera up there and I didn't really want to hold the camera. So I left it outside the room up against a pole facing a door going into another doorway, which is another room to the front side of Bourbon Street Pizza. And so I left it there recording. And I went into the bathroom with Kyle and I shut the door, and we're in there talking. You can hear in the audio. It's a 3.5 minute video is all it was. And we're talking in there, and there's this weird like light-ish, it's the best I can really describe is like a light figure line walk out of the actual doorway of the other room from the other room. And then it's kind of like floating near the doorway. And then you can see it walk, like it literally has legs. You can see the legs move, walk in front on top of the door, lower than a door handle. So it couldn't be more than 3 feet, I'd say. And it just stood there for a second, and then it went back in front of the doorway, the dark hallway, and you could really see it then. And then it sort of hovered around there and then walked towards the camera. And as soon as it got close to the camera just died. I had put brand new batteries in this camera, and it only was running for 3.5 minutes. So like I didn't know about this until 3 days or so after I had already went home. I just thought the camera just died. It was a crappy camera. And when I plugged in the video and I went to watch it, I saw like some stuff floating around, and I saw this thing walk in front of there. And I literally thought I captured like the holy grail of the paranormal, because this is something that people look for, try to capture at places, is trying to actually see a ghost or capture this kind of thing on camera. So at that moment, I knew I had to start some kind of show or film a documentary about something, like go to some place. I felt like for sure that, yeah, I need to be in the paranormal and see if what I can top the next experience from this.
You're still on the search.
Yes, I'm still on the search. Yes. 12 years later.
So correct me if I'm wrong. You actually went back and did an investigation at Bourbon Street later, right?
I did. Yes. I went back there, I believe in 2017, and I went in that damn attic by myself. I was already freaked out because I knew that something for sure was up there. When I was up there and I was using the spirit box, which is basically a modified radio that sweeps, and you can speak with spirits through it. Through the white noise. And I was up there and I actually had a few things happen and some voices come through. I can't recall exactly what was said, but I did capture some stuff on the spirit box talking to me, answering some of my questions. So it was really freaky. Bourbon Street Pizza is for sure haunted. There's something up in the attic, but I don't know what. People have told me over the years that, oh, maybe it's just light going by that made that apparition appear. But the windows upstairs in the attic of Bourbon Street Pizza are all boarded up. There's literally no light source, just straight pitch black. You can't see a single thing, so it's not even possible. And it definitely wasn't from us either, because we were in the bathroom with the door shut. We had nothing that would be strong enough to literally go underneath the door and make something like that. And it was just kind of really crazy. It's one of the coolest things I've ever captured in the video. Now,
did you use that video in the 2017 episode?
I did, yes. I believe so. I put that in there, and I was always scared about releasing it because there's a lot of people in the paranormal that will just rip off your evidence and try to use it as their own. Right. So for so many years, I hid that video. I didn't want people seeing it, but I felt like people needed to know the story of what got me into wanting to film a documentary for Paranormal Encounters.
Because I know that I watched that when it came out. Because everybody was talking about it. Yeah, I got to see this. So
I remember we made a post about it. It was just me and another guy that were standing in front of the building, and it just went freaking crazy with all these shares. I'm like, what the heck? Everybody's like expecting something crazy. So it's pretty cool to see that people were getting more aware of it being haunted.
So the original case where you guys went and investigated Bourbon Street Pizza isn't on YouTube.
No, it's not on YouTube.
May I ask where are some of those original videos went, or did you take them down for personal reasons, or?
Took them down for some other reasons or so, but the Bourbon Street video is actually on the Facebook of Paranormal Encounters, so you could still watch it on Facebook.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, so it is on there. And some of those other videos that I shot up there are still on the YouTube channel. They're just in the mini series playlist.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So out of everything you've done, and you've done tons of stuff for what do you say, last 10 years, 11 years?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite investigation so far?
I mean, every one of them is my favorite, to be honest with you. I seriously, I know I'm serious. Every one of them it's just a totally different thing to get into. Like when you really love something, like it's always like a blissful feeling, I guess, when you go out and go do it. Like when you write, the dopamine just drips, and it's just the same thing with paranormal investigating with me. There's so many places I love doing. I mean, I loved doing a family's home because I've never investigated a residential kind of a place, and I really enjoyed it because it was such a mystery, because there was no history about this place. So I was just trying to rely on anything I captured to point me into the direction of where to go next. and I love mysteries, and true crime and stuff like that. So it's like one of my favorites to get involved into and just go down a rabbit hole and see where it takes me.
So
Nice.
before we move on to anything that you like further investigations, when you started, did you have any experience in video editing, any of that kind of thing? Audio? No?
Nope. I had zero experience in video editing. In fact, nobody knows this. You guys are the first ones. But I used to make videos at night, personal videos of my cats, just like horror films of my cats and stuff I had. And my mom didn't really go for it. But I made like, I don't know, little horror films, and I was just practicing. I didn't know anything. I just got really obsessed with it and figuring out how to get better in each video I did. And I think that's what put me at where I'm at now. So I just like literally get obsessed. Like, I think people, when they go to school, they learn everything all at once. And how I learned the best way for video editing was I just learned things as I needed to know it, and I think that's what really helped me evolve my skills with video editing and shooting films and stuff. And I got involved with a distribution company in 2016 that really like forced me to learn a different way of how to handle audio and video shooting. And it really improved my skills in that.
Nice.
What has been one of the scariest moments for you? Obviously, Waverly sounds terrifying when you had that man next to you, but
it wasn't scary in the moment though.
Yeah, when you're thinking he's a real person, you're just trying to be friendly with him, and God, I would have just noped right out of there. But other than that, what's been one of the scariest moments for you doing this?
Scariest moment is the day I saw a little girl. Like, I literally saw a ghost, and everybody says I see a ghost, and there's a lot of people that will say multiple times I've seen multiple ghosts, but that's not the case for me. I've only seen one ghost in my entire life, and that was when I was on filming my 4th episode, and that was the scariest moment. It's only scary because you realize that it is 100,000% real, that what you're going after is real. It's not just some UFO or like some things that haven't been actually captured in video. You've seen it with your own eyes. So like, I was filming at a place in Edinburgh called Edinburgh Manor in Scotch Grove, Iowa. And I was taking a break from filming, and I was in this room that they used as a recreational room, which had like a pool table and stuff. And there's no other way in this room besides one hallway. So at the time I was on the phone taking a break, and my friends were down at the other end of the hallway, way down on the other side of the building. They were having pizza. And I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time, and I was talking to her on the phone. I'm sort of standing, and like when I talk on the phone, I sort of just don't stand still. I move like a squirrel. So I have this tendency to just keep moving. So anyways, I was standing up, and I was walking around kind of like in a circle, pacing around, and I just so happened to glance and look up down that hallway. Just some weird feeling came over me. I looked up, and I saw this girl, no sound, just ran by, and I knew when I saw her that it wasn't somebody in the building or somebody from this time, just because of how she was dressed, and there was no sound, and where she was running, there was nothing on the other side she could get to. There's just literally a wall with a window. So I saw her, and I couldn't blink. Like, I was frozen. I was like a deer in headlights, and I'm staring at this, and I'm like trying to comprehend like what I just witnessed. And I'm on the phone, and she said, "You just seen a ghost, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Yes," because my demeanor changed instantly. And as I go down there, I look down to my left, and there was no little girl there, which was really weird. It was one of the scariest things, because you realize that what you're chasing is really real. It's not just some made up fairy tale kind of a thing,
Well,
So
and
I went-
children are just scary in general. So
Yeah.
a child ghost would be worse.
Yes. But I mean, I didn't get no sense of endangerment from seeing her or whatever. I felt like there was some reason behind it, but I don't really know what exactly, even to this day still. Maybe it was just letting me know that there was something there, or at that moment I wanted some clarity that what I was chasing was worth it, and maybe it wanted to show me that it was, and it wanted me to keep going, because I don't think if I ever saw her, I don't think I would still question everything I get today, like as like this stuff ain't maybe real, or maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, kind of the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of that, do you find when you're investigating, and like I said, I've been watching a lot of the videos, some the newer ones, like the new stuff you're posting, I'm trying to catch every time it comes out. A lot of the time you guys are just in pitch black. Do
Yeah.
you, I mean, and I can't even imagine what it's like to try to move around inside of, even a place that you don't really know that well, trying to move around in the dark. But do you find that, and I don't know how to, I know that this stuff is real, but do you find that sometimes you're oversensitive to certain sounds, or you might hear something and it really just kind of triggers something that maybe it was a lot simpler than a paranormal piece, or do you find that a lot along the way?
I think I found that more so in the very beginning and not so much now, because I think I'm so used to being in the dark. I kind of recognize some sounds, even though I'm going into like a foreign building, I still kind of get that feeling, I guess, like, oh, like this is not paranormal, or this is maybe something like that. But that's why we always try to figure out what the sounds are coming from and see, during the daytime, you can really kind of tell, like, if the building makes crackling noises, or if
Right.
it's super hot outside and it's nighttime and it cools down, if the place is crackling or making noises. But it's kind of like moving through fog, like in the dark, and it's kind of weird to describe like fog, but um it's gotten easier to discern which sound is going on now, I guess, just because back then I was just kind of jumpy at everything. Now I'm not so much jumpy. I've already pretty much witnessed it all.
Well, and that's, and in all honesty, that's why I really like to watch your guys' videos, because there is not that immediate scream, jump, throw. What was that? Oh my God, what was going on
Yeah.
over there type stuff. It's you guys seem to be very focused and very in tune with what's going on, where it's just not like, oh, it's just a jump scream and next thing you know, somebody's running down the hallway or anything like that. But yeah, I always wondered about that, because your senses, they got to be heightened while you're just, I
Oh, they
mean,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
you basically lose vision, and everything else kind of comes out, and it's insane. How do you guys stay so freaking calm?
I don't know, like, I guess it's like fear, I am still scared of the dark of like some places like this. I mean, India is a little bit more braver about going in some areas than I am.
She has got to be the coolest cucumber I've ever seen in my entire life. I love it. She just like everything. She just takes it in. It's just everything is cool, calm, and collective. It's like, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard
we may look calm, but I really gotta tell you, I think we are kind of scared underneath it. It's just because, I mean, you gotta think about it. I'm in the dark. I don't know if somebody's gonna come out and come murder me or something like that, or come
Yeah,
chase me. I mean, it's scary to think that we're going to some of these places. We don't break into any places. We get permission
right.
and we pay for places, but you don't know if anyone's squatting inside of them and come in and chase you. Because there's been horror stories in the paranormal where homeless people have been squatting some places and come out and severely hurt people or try to kill them or something. It's kind of crazy. But I mean, like, we are scared going in places. I mean, it's scary because you're in the dark and you hear these sounds and you can't run because it's dark. You don't know where
Right.
you're going. So I mean, I am scared. I just don't show it. I just pretend I'm brave. I guess like when you're really submerged in fear, you're just already in it. You're just like, well, I'm already here. Might as well just get involved in it. I just don't think about it, I guess. I try not
Well,
to.
so speaking of squatters and this messing with your investigation, I mean, that's a big part of your Octagon Mansion investigation, right?
Yeah.
Is you guys are almost positive that there's somebody smoking drugs in the house.
Yeah, it was our first ever episode that we did. And honest to God, the entire time, as soon as we walked in, and actually, as soon as India thought she saw something move by and we started smelling that skunk smell, we thought somebody was literally in the building. The entire episode after that, we literally thought the entire time somebody was in there. We get crap for it sometimes still to this day, because people thought we were overreacting, but it's like at that time, somebody in the paranormal actually got jumped and got severely hurt. I don't know if they got stabbed or something. I can't remember, but it happened right around that time. So my mind was kind of freaking out, thinking that this is going to happen to us too, because it's a common thing that happens. So like, that's actually where we experienced a rock and a bolt within 20 minutes get thrown. And it was one of the weirdest things ever because I've never had a rock or a bolt, for that matter, get thrown in. Having two objects get thrown at me within 20 minutes of investigating. That entire investigation was only 3.5 to 4 hours.
I highly recommend you guys go back and watch that YouTube video, by the way, because at one point Connor literally says, "Why don't you throw something at me?"
I asked for it and it did. I was asking, you know, something was coming for me, I guess. I don't know. I literally wasn't thinking that because I never had that experience before. So my first thought was somebody's there. And plus, I heard a woman yell out or something when I was standing next to John, the owner. And I was like, what the hell is there's somebody seriously back there? It gives me chills thinking about it because it makes my skin crawl because I can't see the person and there I heard her voice call out and then I had that rock. It's just really freaking weird. Yeah. Cool experiences, guys. I'm telling you, it's a huge adrenaline rush. Every time I have an experience like this, I seriously love it.
We keep talking about taking a trip down to Waverly.
You guys should. It's really worth it.
That's the place that intrigues me the most. I don't know why. I mean, maybe you talked about the original, you know, when everything kind of started back in 08 and whatever, but when they do Waverly, maybe it's because it's so close. Maybe I think it's really what really brings it together. It's so close and it's so haunted.
Yeah,
you could so much.
There's a place too in Indiana called Indiana is a state hospital or sanatorium. It's just opened up not long ago. It's funny. I moved out of the state and there's all these places that pop up. I moved out because there wasn't any.
Yeah, they're all over the place now. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to do a story on the Ohio State reformatory. I've started researching that, and that once again is actually pretty close too. I don't know, it's crazy, but we talk about your investigations. You go in at night and what kind of equipment are you taking in with you? Now, we know you kind of got the standard, you got your cameras with the night vision and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the portal? I absolutely love this thing because it looks like guitar. Is that guitar pedals?
It is. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Actually, India is the one that introduced that to me. It wasn't really popular with people when we were using it until we filmed at a family's home, but for our second episode. But it's just basically just a spear box connected up to a guitar amp speaker. It's a noise gate and a reverb pedal. And the whole point of that is just to try to help reduce some of the static of the white noise that comes through the radio for the spear box. And to try to make the reverb is for the voices to kind of like be more clear and more, I guess, a longer response so you can hear what's actually being said, because the radio sweeps so fast that a lot of the times it's missed, you know, like it's gotten better over the years for me to figure out what's being said, but back then I couldn't hear anything. It's just going so fast.
I can't imagine what it's with that. And I know that when I watch it on TV, it's just so loud and obnoxious.
It is super loud.
With the portal, that's what I loved about it, was it took away that obnoxiousness about all that sweep and just kind of gave you the meat of what you were looking for. And
it's really cool. It's really, really eerie when it does work. I'm telling you, like when you hear a voice through it, it's really freaking weird.
Even through the videos, when you get that voice with that echo, it's like, oh, dear Jesus, what does you?
Yeah. Imagine hearing that without the actual devices.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a really cool device. We haven't really used it much lately because it hasn't really been doing much for us, which is kind of surprising. But with our equipment, we just stay basic with our equipment. I don't buy all that fancy stuff. It's too much money.
Oh yeah.
You know, we just use the basic, you know, voice recorders, but we're notorious for never capturing EVPs, which is kind of funny. I used to capture them all in the very beginning, but now Indy and I just don't capture them at all. You know, our favorite piece of equipment is just the camera, leaving it running while we're sleeping at the locations or just when we're out for dinner. We use that, a camera, a voice recorder, a REM pod, and the portal. That's really all we use. You know, and we started recently using some apps that our friends made, which I never really was big into ghost hunting apps because they were all like spoofs and fake and stuff like that. But this app is actually pretty crazy. We used it recently at the Sally house for the first time. and had some really weird, freaky responses coming through, and some stuff happened that made it relevant and made me believe like, damn, this thing is kind of crazy. I should start using this app, because when I first started out, I did use a thing called Ghost Radar, which everybody knows about. And I took a trip down to Bobby Mackey's Music World with a guy named Chris from school, and I literally got a sentence that came through and said Bob is fun. So I highly believe that spirits can manipulate any device they use. Doesn't matter if it's a spoof device or not, they can just manipulate it and use it to communicate with you. It doesn't have to be some kind of fancy, expensive paranormal piece of equipment. It could be
Right.
anything.
Right. Well, I love the portal. I love it as guitar pedals. That's the best
Yeah.
part of it for me. It was like, that looks like guitar pedals.
It takes forever to set up. I'm telling you, you guys have no idea. I would never show it in the videos. It takes like 15, 20 minutes to set the dang thing up, because you have to get the right tweaking to it and right
Yep.
tunage to it. It's kind of,
Yeah, you got to
annoying,
get that
but-
gate just right, don't you? That gate part of it, just got to be able to get that sound out of it. Yeah, that's insane.
and it's different every location too, which is kind of crazy. So each time we go to each new place, we always have to retune it and try to get it to the right spot that we think is
Right.
clear enough.
But it's a good piece. Too bad it's pain in the ass.
No, you can build it less than $200 too. So,
Hey.
you can have your own.
Oh,
Go,
He's
Jam.
Yeah.
already got
You
all
don't
the
need it.
stuff for it.
I might probably have all this stuff. It may not cost me anything.
Yeah.
It's our next mission, Jeremy.
Well, see, here's the thing. Alicia, when we sat down and we start talking about, we talk about Waverly. Let's go back to that. She's like, we need to go. And then I tell her the stories, and she's like, I ain't going.
I hate it.
Oh man, imagine using the portal in the death tunnel there. That'd be kind of, it'd echo down the tunnel. That'd be really freaky.
Oh, it would be in the body shoot. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Freaky, spooky.
Yeah, if you go to get a chance, you have to look up her what is it? TikTok. It's
TikTok, yeah.
meatball hair.
Meatball
And
hair.
she's got the video from the night the camera went off, and
Yeah.
see the look on her face when that
I was
camera
trying to
dropped.
think, because there's like 4 different TikToks. I'm like, which one is it on? But yeah, and
Wow.
then in the episode, you can hear the woman talk. I mean, the weird part is her voice sounds similar to mine. And I've heard like 2 or 3 people say, that sounded like your voice. And I'm like, it wasn't though. And Jeremy went through and like took everything apart with the sound, and there's just no explanation. There's nothing.
I can even top that, because I was trying to isolate it and figure it out. And I didn't realize at the time when I was doing it the first time was I was still running both of our tracks. So her track and my track. I wasn't speaking when the voice came through. So I thought, well, if I just take her out and then just leave this, silent track with her, in the background, maybe I'll be able to hear it better. It wasn't on my track.
That's cool.
It was just on hers.
See,
Yeah, look at
that's
that
really
face.
cool.
I love scary stuff, but it scares me. Like, like I don't like roller coasters. I don't like horror movies. I'm not a big horror movie fan, but like being in scary stuff is terrifying for me. And that's really like
Why is
hearing
that?
that voice. What was
Why is
that?
Why is it terrifying?
I don't know, because it's right there. Like, I'm sure you've heard of Little Egypt.
Yeah,
Bremen.
yeah. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Going out there, every time something happens, and every time I leave absolutely terrified, but I want to go back. And I don't know why.
So a
I
little bit
just-
of a, when you get a taste of something that's the paranormal, you want more. So it's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's kind of like a drug. So yeah.
Now, see, I've been and nothing ever happens to me.
Go
Been
with
to the
Yeah,
that.
I'm right there
been to
with
the
it. I
Hotel
went with
Galvez.
Alicia, and nothing ever happened.
No, the only thing that's scary is the damn woods, guys. That's what's scary.
Yeah,
You know, you don't want
Yeah.
some guy coming out with a chain or something, a chainsaw.
that is the worst part of being out there. You never know what's gonna pop out, right beside your car or where you're walking, or
Yeah. There's no
Yeah.
lights or anybody even close nearby.
yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
when you go and investigate these places, what is the typical like average cost? I mean, in one of the episodes you're like, I think the person you were interviewing is like, well, you guys paid to be here, so you're gonna catch something. I mean, so what is your typical like cost to go and investigate?
It really depends. I try to find the free places because the places, some of them are really expensive. I think the most expensive one we've done is $750. And they only give you so much time at night too. So it's like, I'm always upside down when I do episodes just because the cost of the locations are always so expensive. We've been into, I'd say the average would be about $500, I want to say, at least that we've spent. I think I spent like 20 or 30K in 2020 just going to places, which is really crazy expensive. You think about us with everything, but about the average cost is about $500 to go to places, and some of them only offer you like 6 hours to be inside, which, you know, that's almost a little over $100 there an hour. So you better hope you capture something. Otherwise, you went to $500 to an abandoned building in the middle of nowhere that nobody goes into anymore.
That's kind of expensive to go to a abandoned building. You don't catch shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what you want to do.
No, yeah, you know, we've spent money going to places like $300-$400 before, and we've captured nothing. But I guess it's still worth it because you get to go to a building that you wouldn't be allowed to just walk into any day, and you can see like how it looked or like what it's about, like old hospitals. It's really, really cool. It's like urban exploring, I guess, in a way.
Right.
You know.
Now, in your second book, actually, let's take a minute. You told us before we actually went on air. Of course, you know, I read the first two. Your third book just came out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Just came out in May.
Right on.
May 9th. Yeah.
And there's possibly another one coming in after that. We're pretty excited.
Yeah, I don't know exactly 100% what it's going to be about, but it is just going to be more about experience. It's not so much, I guess, based on the show itself, but it's going to be more based on experiences and my thoughts and some things that I've started putting two and two together and trying to add in there. And I've always been quiet about like my beliefs in the paranormal because it's like politics. You don't really talk about it.
Right.
People are mad about it, you know, if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna basically come clean with some of the stuff I think about in my book and some stuff I've experienced.
Well, I wanted to ask you about book number 2 because I'm just about done with it. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but I wanted to ask you about book number 2. And it was pretty much the family home of Tyler and was it Jennifer?
Jessica.
Mm-hmm. You went down. Did you guys go back there like 2 or 3 times? Did you visit the house more than once? Is what I'm gathering?
Yep, we were there 3 times.
I want to ask you a question, and I hope that they don't, if they ever watch this or ever hear it or whatever, that they don't take it personal. But did it annoy you that how much he kind of talked over? And this is what drove me crazy. I watched the videos and then I've read the book, but Tyler seemed to like really just jump in there and like really just kind of muffle it all up. It seemed like to me. Did that drive you nuts, or was it? I mean, was that something you guys talked about before you started filming? Or anything like that?
I mean, it didn't bother me, I guess, because I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as he was excited because, you know, like we went there really because like he disregarded a lot of the paranormal and didn't really believe in it, what was going on. He kept pawning it off, but I knew that he kind of still believed in it,
right?
That there was something going on. And I think that he talked a lot because he started seeing something go on that and with us that he couldn't really deny. So I think he got kind of excited and not so much wanted just to talk more than his wife, but I think he just wanted to be more involved to figure out his own answers and I guess have that closure instead of just thinking, oh, it's just some animal or something natural in the house.
Right.
You know, because when you do experience something paranormal, you know it's paranormal when it happens because it's undeniable, but it's just something that you want to have more of it. It's literally, like I said, a drug. You want more of it. So you kind of want to experience what else, how further can this go?
Right. I have to ask this is one of my big questions. This is one that I was thinking about most of all. When you guys finish an investigation, is there something you do to kind of cleanse so that you don't have an attachment from anything that you've done, or is that something you concerned about? Or
Honestly, no, I don't do anything cleansing or anything like that. I don't believe in it for one, for two. And we used to say not to follow us home and just say thank you for communicating and thank them. We never really showed that on camera before. But it's just out of respect, I guess, because it's like, with the experience that you have, it's more like a gift. I look at it as, so it's more like you should be thankful that it happened, because it doesn't happen to people that look for it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And it's a rare thing to have. So like, we don't do any kind of cleansing or rituals. I just mostly just, I kind of thank them for the experience, or I just mentally thank them, because I feel like they don't need me to verbally speak, because it's just they already know some stuff that happens before it happens.
right on.
That's a cool question. Never got asked that before.
And I think that's probably one of my biggest fears about going someplace and doing an investigation or just doing all that, was the idea of attachment and something coming home.
See, we've had things come home with us and have experience happen, but it's not, I think it's just, like when it comes to the paranormal, everything that happens is more of like an invisible, like it's like kind of like anxiety and depression. So those are invisible feelings that come out of nowhere, kind of a thing. And it's kind of like the same thing with the paranormal. It's all about your mindset. You got to have a strong mindset when you do the paranormal and not psych yourself up. You psych yourself up, you can psychologically trick yourself into thinking you're experiencing something at home, or like it's just scary, because you see videos and you subconsciously brainwash yourself and program yourself that this stuff happens. It's the Conjuring, they're going to come possess me and be demonically possessed and stuff like that. But that stuff is just not going to happen. It's just about your mindset, really, I think. And like, if you have a strong mindset, you're not going to ever experience anything like that, because like I said, it's like an invisible force. It's just, you just gotta be strong-minded.
Right on.
What's your dream investigation?
Uh,
Like if money wasn't an object, traveling wasn't an object.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. Like people would do the cliche answer and say all the main haunted places like Alcatraz and places like that, but I like finding places that are a gem. Like the family's home that we filmed that was a gem, because it's like something that's so rare. I don't really have a dream location, but I'd have a dream experience like we did at Whispers Estate. Like just a dream experience is what I like to have, like where something undeniably happens constantly.
Nice.
So I'd like to go back and talk about a haunted house, home sweet, haunted home, and a return to a haunted house for just a second.
Sure.
Are you the first team to investigate this house?
Yes.
Yes.
They never had a paranormal investigation before, because we lived in South Carolina and it was more like the Bible Belt. So people around that area kind of frown upon the paranormal. And so it's kind of like a hush hush with that family at that time. So we were definitely the first ones to go in there and just experience it.
Is that why in the first video they decided they wanted their faces blurred?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they didn't want their faces shown. They didn't know what their friends think, their family. Actually, Jessica's mom is the one that actually kind of initiated the conversation between India and us to get us in the house, which is kind of funny. But yeah, they didn't want their identity shown for the protection of their kids. They didn't know like our YouTube channel really, and like how popular it was. And you get these stories of people coming in and trying to come to people's houses. Like you got like the Amityville house where people just stopping outside someone's home and take pictures. Like people live there to this day. So they were kind of worried about that kind of a thing happening.
And then in these specific sets of videos, this is your first time using the Estes method.
Yes. Yes. That was the second time we went back to the house, the home sweet haunted home. It blew our mind when we had that experience. At that time, it wasn't really known. It was getting to known around the paranormal. So we wanted to try it first. I was always about trying new things and investigations and see how it went. And yeah, we used the Estes method and it was crazy.
Can you kind of describe what the Estes method is?
Yeah, it's kind of like using the spirit box, but the problem with the spirit box is that if you and I are using it, you'll hear something and I'll hear something, but you'll say it first, and then my mind will go to hearing what you're saying. So what it kind of does is it kind of eliminates that contamination, and it makes it so only the receiver who listens to it is the one speaking. So it makes it more definitive if I ask a question and then you were to answer it and you say something very relevant, it would point to more so of how could this kind of happen because it's going through radio, kind of thing. So it makes it more compelling to use. So the receiver, the person that's listening to the spirit box, is using noise canceling headphones, and the traditional way of doing it is wearing blindfold. So you kind of eliminate all your senses except for smelling, I guess, but that's kind of useless. So anyways, the person is the receiver who listens to it, and then you've got the person who is like basically the conjurer, the person who's asking the questions. And some people like to do it differently, but I like to stay away from India, where she absolutely cannot even hear anything I say. So when you ask a question, the spirit box, she's supposed to say anything that she hears as far as a word that comes through the spirit box. And we've had amazing results with it. Like I've had almost a conversation, like a couple word conversations before. It's pretty weird. It's really, really cool when it works. It's like one of the coolest things ever, because it's paranormal because it's just the coincidence of that happening. It's just so slim.
So this leads me to two additional questions. The Spirits of St. Albans video.
Mm-hmm.
India was doing the Estes method, I believe, when she started to have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of describe what was running through your head when she started freaking out?
See, like we'd only filmed, I think, 6 episodes at this time, and we were at this abandoned hospital called St. Albans in Radford, Virginia. And we were upstairs in this room where a girl named Rachel had a stillborn baby, and she was keeping like the fetus in like a jar, I guess in the closet. And one of the staff members found out about it and kind of took it away from her. So she kind of committed suicide in the bathroom, which is known for people committing suicide in, which just so happened to be in her room that she was in. So India was doing the S's method in there, and I'm out in the hallway on the other side of the room, and I'm hearing noises, like some stuff moving around, which is already freaking me out because I'm in this massive room in the dark. And like the first thing going through my mind is I freaked out because India, for one, screamed so loud it made me drop to the ground. I didn't know what was going on. I ran into there because I didn't know what was happening, and then she starts having this, I could start seeing like she kind of like changed, I guess, like her demeanor, and she started crying. She never cries, I guess, when we're doing investigations. She starts talking about the woman's baby, and like you get the whole idea of like, oh God, like someone's being possessed kind of a thing. But I never really thought that, I guess, when that was going on. I just was more concerned about why she was crying and what was really going on with her. I think it was just a lot to handle, because once you're submerged into listening to the white noise, it kind of like has like an influence, like a trans influence over you, I guess, and like you sort of connect more on a different level than you are without the white noise. It kind of puts you in a trance. So I just wanted to get her out of that room because she was crying and having this weird emotions, and she didn't want to leave. It was just really strange and not her character. So I didn't know what was going on in my mind at the moment. I just felt I needed to get her out of that area, and we needed to go downstairs.
When something like this happens, do you think about just canceling the investigation at that point?
Nope. Not at all. It sounds crazy, guys, but I mean, honestly, India can tell you I have this thing where no matter what happens, we're always filming, because I regret the day that I saw that little girl, the ghost I saw, and I wasn't filming. So like since that day, I have a rule where I need to film every single place I go to or everything I'm doing, just in case I do see it or something happens, I can capture her on camera and I can relive that moment again. So yeah, that's just kind of a rule I have. I don't never leave, no matter how scary it gets. It's all going to be on camera because I want to experience it again when I watch it back.
So that leads me into the second one, and that's the Melbourne Manor.
Yes. Okay. I figured we were going to get there. Yeah, that's actually a good example of when we don't stop filming, because I don't know if we showed it in the episode, but I think India asked me if you wanted me to keep filming. I said, yeah, or something. I don't remember. No, I told India beforehand to keep filming, I think. And then they wanted to stop filming. She said that I told her to keep filming. Yeah, it's for that reason, because I don't know what's going to happen. I want everything on camera, every single thing. I'm all about in the moment kind of a thing. Our show is big on being in the moment with no fluff. So there's no over exaggeration or anything like that. It's literally how I'm feeling, what's going on, what's happening, what I'm seeing, and stuff like that. So I'm huge on that.
With the Melbourne Manor situation, I mean, how long were you kind of down and out?
I want to say, I think it was like 45 to 50 minutes. It
Wow.
didn't even feel that way. Honestly, I thought it was under like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I kind of like let myself go when I was doing it, when I was listening to the Estes method and listening to the static. I just kind of like, like they say when you're meditating, to kind of like try to listen to your breathing. And that's kind of like what I was trying to do, but I was trying to listen to the static, and I kind of got lost in it. And I kind of like lost myself there for a minute. I kept going in and out. I remember of consciousness of being aware of what was going on, and I wasn't, because I was trying to focus, and it just kind of like got like to the point where it was really heavy, and I had this really weird feeling come over me where it's gonna sound gross, but I was just really sweating and it wasn't even hot in the room or anything like that. I just like started having some weird it's hard to describe, I guess, because it's just more so like I felt like I was gonna pass out kind of a thing. It was really strange.
So
But
do you chop that up to the paranormal, or do you just chop that up to getting lost in the static? And I believe they said there was a Tesla coil in the room at that point too,
yeah,
right?
there was a Tesla coil in the room, kind of like using, like they believe to put energy in the air, it creates electricity in the air. I mean, it's one of those experiences I still don't know what really ever really happened. But somebody was saying my blood sugar was low, yada yada, but it's not that. I eat too much. It's not that. It definitely wasn't that. I don't know what's going on with me at that moment. It could be a couple things. I mean, I have to have something really definitive for me to say, yeah, 1000% is paranormal kind of a thing, but I don't really know what was going on with me at that moment. It's just one of those weirdest things. I can't really recall everything because I don't remember everything. I just remember watching the video, and that was really it.
It
So
had to
that's
be
why we film
crazy.
everything.
It had to be crazy to go back and watch that and see that.
It was really weird. I was like, man, what the hell? This is 45 minutes. That's a lot to cut down, guys. Telling you what, 45 minutes is a lot. We don't really try to go that long because it's just too much. After a while, you just kind of like, it's just listening to static. You just go numb.
Yeah, once
And-
again, once you're in that, when the headphones in, that's not like the portal. It is just straight static from the radio sweeps,
Yep.
right?
Yep, it's straight static. Yeah. So you hear the static and you're trying to focus heavily and trying to hear the words, or trying to decipher which is radio music and which is actually words, because that stuff bleeds together. So you kind of
Right.
have to try to discern which is which and just say what you think is not radio.
So do you guys keep the raw files from the Estes method so you can go back and listen and hear what India is hearing?
We didn't have a way to record it back then, and then we figured out how to do it, and our cord broke. So we couldn't record it. But just recently on this new episode that's coming out, we did record the entire Estes method. So you can hear some of the stuff that India was listening to. So yeah, we do record it. We got a new spirit box now that does actually record it. It's just so hard people don't understand that when it comes to like recording that session, there's literally no one talking. So I have to figure out where to sync it at. And it's super hard. So it's kind of difficult to sync that stuff because I've got so many files, 4 or 5 or 6 audio channels to sync together. It's a little difficult at that point.
You know what? I never even thought about that. That's gotta be tough to try to.
It is. It's really hard.
all
I'm like,
together.
okay, if this sound it clicked, we'll go find it through the audio and click. and that kind of a thing.
So you talk about equipment, and I've always had this vision of all these guys that do these investigations, like out of the corner of my eye, you just seen this. Have you ever thought about like a 360 night vision camera that you could like put, maybe like on your head or something that would get the whole 360 around you?
I have, but those cameras are expensive, really, really expensive, and the quality to me is not great at all yet.
It's not.
No, it's horrible, and it's stitched video together, and it'd be worse to try to edit that together, and it wouldn't be worth it because then the whole video would have to be 360 because you have to film the interviews and everything else 360, and it just wouldn't be clear because then it would become one of those UFO videos where everything's blurry.
Right on. That
mean?
makes sense.
Yeah,
I always want to catch the corner of my eye. I was like, well, why wasn't the camera pointed that way?
Yeah.
Like I'm there. Yeah, I don't know nothing.
So during these interviews at the beginning of your episodes, you get a brief history of these historic buildings you're going into, and are you ever like speculative when you go into these situations about the stories you're being told?
Yeah, I go to every place with healthy skepticism. I don't believe that they're haunted until I have something actually happen to me. Because when you say there's something haunted, it's got to be like, to me, a reoccurring thing that happens all the time. And a lot of people have experiences there, I guess. And if I don't have an experience there, it doesn't mean it's not haunted, but to me, it's not as haunted as they say. So I always have healthy skepticism because it's the right thing to do when you're doing paranormal investigating. Because it's like, for example, if you guys are familiar with the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas, people say it's demonic, and there's a ghost girl named Sally there. So if you already know it, and so many people are having all these experiences, and you don't go in there with skepticism, like you're gonna think you're experiencing something from Sally because you hear a noise crackling or something like that. So it's the best way to approach anything paranormal is just to be skeptical until proven otherwise.
When you go into a place like the Sally House, though, is it hard to be skeptical because of the frequency of the stories coming out of a place like that?
No, because people are liars. I'm just gonna be straight with you. I mean, people in the paranormal lie all the time, so I don't believe anything they say unless I experience it. I mean, that's just the nature of people in general, and even outside the paranormal. You just gotta be, you just gotta have critical thinking, I guess, when it comes to that stuff. You just gotta be a little bit more. Well, not everybody will want to tell the truth anymore because everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be para-famous or whatever they want to do. So you just got to know that some stories are probably fabricated, and you got to discern which ones are fabricated and which ones aren't, and not to believe any of them until something similar happens to you.
I like that explanation.
That makes complete
Good.
sense, because how do you know what is really true or what is, maybe fabricated for a TV show or something like that, just to get the extra ratings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you go in and you experience it yourself, then you know for sure where you stand with that. But yeah, I totally understand that explanation.
There will always be videos of people saying, I'm going to prove the existence of ghosts or aliens or whatever, and they'll put stuff on video. You just have to know that you have to, like, you can believe in the paranormal, but you can't believe everything you watch as real. You just need to experience yourself, because you will always have somebody that says that's not real. I mean, I can have myself levitate and get picked up and thrown by a real ghost, and people will still say I faked it or something like that. There will always be those people out there. And it's always why you just got to experience it for yourself or go seek it yourself and then find your own answers.
Right.
That actually leads into another interesting question. Are you still obsessed with Ghost Adventures?
No, I don't watch any of those shows.
No.
Nope. I don't watch those shows because I don't want to subconsciously brainwash myself into their tactics again. Because when I first started doing Paranormal Encounters, I was heavily influenced by Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and my persona and my approach was all like that. And I mean, I was really young, dumb, and stupid then anyways, but it was just, I don't watch it because I don't want to trick myself without knowing. I don't want to act this way or do this kind of a thing. I just avoid all those shows. And if I do, I don't really pay attention to them because I don't want to. I guess people take them as mentors and stuff like that. They just shouldn't do that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, because now we're agitating and you don't want to agitate. Yeah, that's the one thing I like about you guys. You guys are always very, what's the word I'm looking for? The thank yous and thank you for talking to us and all that stuff, which is, the total opposite of what those guys do, where they just sit there and scream at a wall for an hour and you're just like, shut up, dude. Just
yeah, it's just, that's what I said. It goes back to being respectful to the spirits. They give you an experience, it's because you were meant to have that experience. It wasn't just some random fluke at some place. And that's why I highly believe, because it's just like how my experiences have all led to certain things, all happen for a reason. So when I go to places, it is a bummer when I get absolutely nothing. It puts me down, because it's just like I want to communicate with it, and it's not so much to prove it, it's just to experience it, because it's on another level of a human experience that you don't get, because there's so many people that are closed-minded anymore. Everything's fake and everything's not real. But it's just, when you have something like that, it's like being in a fantasy, you know what I mean, that
Right.
you see on TV.
Do you ever go back and watch your videos and kind of cringe at your original acting?
Yeah, I don't watch it. You know how many times I've watched the episodes? I actually am already sick of the new one that's coming out. It hasn't even been finished yet. I get sick of watching them. I don't watch them. Like our family will sometimes watch them. They'll put them on, and just like, it's cringy just to watch, because it's just like, man, I really said that, or I talk like that. See,
or I know exactly what you're saying. When I record an album, that's the thing, is you spend so much time mixing, mastering, and doing all that stuff. By the time you're done with it, you don't ever fucking want to listen to it again.
No.
You're just done. Just there. Just, you guys enjoy it. You take it, enjoy it, because I don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah, I always feel like, I'm always down on myself anyways, and stuff like that. I always think everything I do is trash. So it's just like, I try not to look at the trash and let other people enjoy somebody's trash is another man's treasure. So I let somebody else think they like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, so far so good, man. I'm loving the new episodes. I think the new ones are the best stuff coming out yet.
Thank you.
India is absolutely amazing. I love watching her and her calm demeanor and her style of investigation. It's brilliant. And and her sister, and I always, and no offense, but I get a kick out of the India Asia names. I love the names. I think that's great.
Yeah, somebody's like, do you have a brother named Japan? I'm like, really? Is this something stupid? Come on. Yeah, it's pretty funny though. Her sister, when I was telling India, because we just filmed at a hospital not long ago, St. Joseph Manor, and I told India, I'm like, this is kind of weird. We should fly Asia out, because every time Asia goes in an episode, it's always on a hospital one. Every one of them she's been in has been a hospital episode, and we don't plan that. It just so happens to be that way.
It just happens that way.
Yeah.
Skylar?
Let me read through my notes here for half a second.
All right.
I've got a lot of them.
Oh, wow. You guys have done your research, huh?
It's all right, Connor. I got a question, actually.
What's that?
So since these two, Alicia and the Emperor over here, are from TUSOP, the United States of Paranormal, where they talk about cryptid, creepy, paranormal, do you have any cryptids that you believe in?
Honestly, I haven't explored the topic enough to really believe in it, or to know enough to figure out how to do it. The one thing that is super popular that people always talk about is Skinwalker, and I'm close to Skinwalker Ranch, so I'd love to check that out, because it's getting more popular recently, and I just find that fascinating. But I mean, that if that thing is real, then I think I really wouldn't be coming back from the video that time.
Listen,
what I mean?
if you get a chance to go out there, will you call us back and report back what you get? Because my wife and the boy's mom is obsessed with that show. She watches, the Skinwalker Ranch show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not buying it.
No, yeah, that's why I want to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know if I get eaten by a person.
Oh yeah.
Or
Listen,
they say a lot of
on.
weird. Yeah, they say a lot of. I'll tell you as I'm getting bitten. Yeah. It's a weird thing I want to just explore. I think it'd be kind of a cool topic. I don't believe in Loch Ness Monster. I'm sorry, or anything like that. But Skinwalker would be more fascinating, I guess, because it's more so that people are actually focusing on an area to explore.
Yeah, they've got a certain little area that they're really focused on, that triangle area that they seem to love. But I don't
Mhm.
know. There's just something about the delivery of what those guys are doing that I'm not buying it. Not
It's all
saying
for
there's nothing
ratings.
there, but with their approach to it is just not working for me. But so I don't know, take it for what it is.
Yeah. Be flying drones with thermal cameras all over the place, multiple of them.
Oh yeah.
Trying to see if I see anything.
That would be all right. Yeah, there you go.
You guys scout your own locations, or do you like have a network of people that kind of interact with one another and give tips to each other?
Well, it's a mix of both. We basically scout the places and try to find places that aren't known. But we do have friends that say, hey, you should check out this place, or we just so happen to interview somebody and they recommend all these places and we hit those people up, and then it's like a trickle effect. It just keeps going down more and more and more. But we just kind of like look for places that aren't popular, I guess, and try to stray away from that, and then do that. So we do our own research, and then some of it is people telling us some places we should go to.
Nice.
Do you find yourself integrating with any of the other YouTube paranormal investigation groups?
There's only like one YouTube channel we really collabed with before. It's Paranormal Quest. They're our friends outside of the show, and they've been our friends for years, and they're the ones that we would collab with the most. So like there's just some people I see on YouTube that I wouldn't collab with just because they're not how I handle things, I guess, in the paranormal, and I don't think our chemistry would match. I hope that makes
So
sense.
the other day, it might have been today even, you made a post on Facebook about demonic presence compared to just paranormal presence.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, man, this is a really cool post. And then I was going through the comments and I was seeing the names, and I was like, oh well, this is the lady he talked to at the Whispers Estate, or
Mhm.
So do you find yourself entangled with those people a lot more then too?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because we meet these people and they become friends, and then we stay in touch with them long after we film. But like what made that post is just everybody's about demonic and demon stuff, and everything house is dark. It's just so annoying because it's not true. They're just lying, and it's not how the paranormal works. It's just, to me, not in an offensive way if I say this. It's just very inexperienced thinking. It's how I used to think when I first started in the paranormal, and it's also because why I don't watch paranormal shows is because that type of stuff brainwashes you subconsciously, and you're so unaware of it to the point where it becomes a personality of you, and it's just really annoying. So like I do stay in contact with those people, and I do respect what everyone else believes as well too, but it's just something that I find is highly common in the paranormal, is people think everything's demon. And I think it's just because people want to have that sense of, hey, I'm in danger and I saved myself and I'm no longer in danger. And it entices people to watch, and it's a clickbait. It's a huge clickbait thing on YouTube. And I think people just get suckered into it, and it just becomes a norm. And so I just wanted to call it out because it's kind of getting annoying. I never really say anything about paranormal beliefs on other than my books because nobody reads my books. But so
Wait, time out. I've read your books.
I know you guys
Look,
really
right here, right here.
Oh, look, there it is. It's only you four. No, it's like politics. Like if people believe in orbs and people don't believe in orbs, and it's just like you say something, people attack you, and I just keep my mouth shut, I guess. So when it comes to demon stuff, it was only because we talked about Home Sweet Haunted Home. A lot of people just say it's demons they're communicating with, it's demonic, they're pretending it's ghosts. And it's just so annoying because that's not my experience I had when I was there, and they're just basically saying that was the experience, and it's not. And I find it not offensive, it's just really annoying. It's a nuisance because just that it become the norm in the paranormal now because all these shows only look for dark hauntings, and it's just kind of stupid. So yeah, I went on my Karen rant.
Actually, I think that Karen rant is extremely important because I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of keeps throwing this shit out there, and you know, and like you said, the clickbait, man. I'll tell you what, YouTube is the worst for clickbait.
I know it really is. I mean, 3 a.m. challenge, demon hurt me. Oh my God. You
Yeah.
know, that's like a stupid title.
I gotta
Scary.
see
Real
that.
scary.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just because little kids click on that stuff because you read it and they're like, oh, I gotta watch it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just I was surprised to see how many people commented on it, what people commented on, because I don't talk to them. So it's kind of surprising that a lot of people agreed with it. I didn't really expect it. I just got off work, I was sleep deprived, and I was like, you know what, this kind of pissed me off, so I'm just gonna post about it. So yeah, I get my Karen rants every once in a while on Facebook.
But being in the investigation field for what, 15 years at this point, I mean, you're justified in the way you think, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I respect everyone's beliefs, and they should do the same, just like politics and religion and stuff like that. But it's just I have so many places and so many experiences that, you know, each one is just one block to the bigger experience, and it's all relatable, I guess, to me. So with all those experiences, this is just what my assumption of my thinking is. You know what I mean? I've never had a really bad experience where I think it's evil, or it's not evil. It's just a gift, you know, I mean, to experience something like that. So like I put my thoughts together, and this is just what I think. And if you don't agree with it, it's cool. You know, everyone has their own beliefs, but we all have different experiences, you know, whether we induce it ourselves or if it's paranormal induced. Hope that makes sense.
It does. It actually makes very good sense.
Good.
Very much so.
I'm just ad-libbing right now. I'm trying to think what I can say that, you know, that makes the most sense.
Well,
I
here
know
at Tucson, we don't make a lot of sense, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
We make some sense.
Oh, we make, yeah.
I know the Emperor had a very important question, or a series of questions he wanted to talk about. So I
Here's
think
the
let's-
hard questions.
Wait,
this might be the tough topic.
Uh-oh. All right, let's do it.
you're gonna have to refresh my memory. It's been a long day.
In book 1, you have a chapter called The Years of Darkness.
Okay, yes.
So this is roughly 2014 to 2017.
This was 2017 to technically the very start of 2019.
Okay, I was a little ahead of
Yes.
myself.
I'm pulling up in the book right now.
I just flipped through it just so I could remember the name of the chapter.
Yeah, that's why I'd have to look too, because I can't believe I've already gotten 3 books out right now. I'm already forgetting my own chapters.
See, I was feeling bad because I read it and I enjoyed it, and then I started reading the second one, and I'm like, I know I read the first one. This story was in there, and then some of the stories you told tonight are actually in the first book, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. The little girl and different stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the books aren't meant to be read in order. It's just meant for people to always jump in any book they want. But yeah, it's just, yeah.
Right.
Well, like
ahead.
I said, man, this first book is, I mean, it's really incredible, and it's a great insight into the early years and kind of where and how you are where you are.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the Netflix deal a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was the lead up to it, and then the fall apart?
Qualifier is my inexperience. This is why I gotten obsessed. So in 2016, I had only filmed 6 episodes, and at the time, YouTubers was just becoming popular. So there was a lot of third-party companies that were like, "Hey, I will use you as talent. We'll pay you money," those kind of things like that. So I was very aware of those kind of companies that were approaching YouTubers, and I got approached by a company based in New York called Big Media, and I was already at first leery, you know, about it, because I was like, well, this is probably one of those companies. But then I started researching, and I started realizing these people actually put stuff on Netflix. These people are putting stuff on Discovery. Like, they're actually a distribution company. And that was my main goal, was to actually make a televised show to show my experiences, because I felt like this was my calling. Like this is like something I was meant to go do. So they approached me and were looking for paranormal content, and they said that they wanted me to sign a deal with them, to sign over to them, and that they could get me on a network. And then I didn't really believe too much into it, but I was already super excited. You know, this was my first ever experience to have somebody approach me and want to try to sell the show, because I didn't know how. I mean, I was self-taught through everything. I didn't know how to approach Netflix or where to begin. And they wanted to use the 6 episodes that I had. And I guess, you know, the way it works in distribution is there's a lot of waiting. So like when you submit stuff, you wait a long time, like months. So when I had submitted some information in some of these episodes, because we were going to just reshoot the show and do it differently, but Netflix wanted to actually have the original files to the first 6 episodes. The problem here, though, is I didn't have any of those files. I had no idea. I never backed up the episodes. I'd make the episodes of videos and delete the whole thing. Never saved the footage, never did anything like that. And I beat myself up to this day to that, because I was going to get 18, I think it was 18 grand from, I can't remember exactly. I think it's 18 grand from Netflix to sign over those 6 episodes and then shoot a new season of episodes. And since I didn't have those master files, the way it works with like Netflix and Hulu, you have to make the video, it's very technical if I say it. So this is basically, you have to have a different type of format the video has to be in and separate the audio channels. And I had no idea how to do that stuff back then. I just did what I thought I knew. And that's why I didn't get the Netflix deals, because I didn't have the master files. And I didn't know what I was doing with film back then. My text was out of frame. I didn't know anything about that. So the whole distribution thing really changed and taught me a lot of how TV and how distribution works, and how a video should look, because every platform you put on will show the video differently, just how it codecs the video. So your text may be off the screen on some platforms, it may not. So that's why there's a text safe margin on videos when you're doing video editing, you got to be aware of. So like that was why I never got the Netflix deal, because I didn't have the master file. So now I have to buy 1,000 hard drives now, because I have every video backed up. So yeah, I have videos backed up from years ago too. So it's just like I have to keep constantly buying hard drives, and I have to keep copying other hard drives to the point now where I have like 4+ terabytes worth of footage of just the episodes. It's just kind of crazy.
Did you ever
So-
debate on reaching back out to the media companies?
No, because I still had a partnership with that company until 2019, and I was with them, you know, for a while, and I never. It's kind of like I don't have ability to talk to the Netflix or any of those companies, because they talk a different language, and you have a specific person from a department you talk to, and they don't make that stuff public. So like the people in distribution have like secret emails, and they know people that know this person that knows how to get this on there. It's kind of like a you got to know people kind of thing in the TV world. If you don't, you don't have a way of getting it on platforms.
It's like the secret society of Netflix is what you're saying.
Yes, it's Illuminati.
So, can you explain your Amazon deal that you had or you still have? What was that about?
It wasn't so much a deal. It was more like Amazon used to support independent filmmakers. So like anybody could go put their video on there if they knew what platform, like website that Amazon uses to distribute videos to Amazon Prime. And back then they were taking independent filmmakers, but people on Amazon Prime pay like, I mean, $15, $20 a month for their subscription to watch that type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people were complaining on, you know, independent filmmakers sites, I'm sorry, on their videos, and just commenting horrible things, so much so that Amazon noticed and ended up removing the ability to have your videos free with Prime, which means if you have a Prime membership, you can watch it for free, which is
Gotcha.
the biggest money maker for independent filmmakers. And when they took that away, it kind of killed it, because nobody wants to buy anything. So like, you know, like you put your videos on there and people don't buy it unless they want to keep it. but when it was free with Prime, we would get like millions of views, I'm sorry, millions of minutes watched a month, because Amazon goes off of, they pay you by the very, very millisecond of a minute. So like they pay you a penny an hour. That's what they used to pay. They used to go up to 5 cents. Then you hit about 500,000 minutes watched, and it would drop down to 1 penny an hour, which is, you think about it, you give me a penny for 45 minutes of my video. I went and spent all night. I spend 50, 60, 70 hours editing, and I only get a penny for it. You know, that's just crazy.
The Spotify, the streaming Spotify deals are the same way. As far as music goes, you know, for every song that's listened to, it's 0.0001 cent, you know, and it's like, it's amazing. You can have a million streams, but you know, here's a nickel for all that work you put into it. Yeah.
It's a lot of work being an artist. You know, being a creative individual is very, very, very expensive. It's not expensive so much in money. It's more of your mentality, you know, expensive, your mental strength.
And how do you deal with that? I know you said you don't really post much on Facebook and stuff like that, but do you take hits on the videos? Do you get comments on the YouTube? Is that have you thickened the skin up to get beyond some of the people with keyboard courage?
No, I mean, more so I do now. You know what I mean? I just laugh it off because I just think the comments are stupid because it's irrelevant and it's not what I think of myself or the videos I do. I mean, I do think my videos are awful, but I don't think I'm awful. So like, I mean, we gotten more thick skin because, you know, a lot of the people that comment, and the show has evolved because of the comments, because they used to say that we would talk too much or we get too excited and stuff like that. So we've learned to train ourselves to calm down more. So the comments have helped, and they have made anxiety and made us depressed. Like, God, I just want to jump off a bridge kind of thing. But
Right. Yeah.
you know, but you just can't take this stuff serious and believe it, because those people are just noise, and they're just not, you don't need to give them rent space. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, because they're not the ones spending the time doing it. They're just mad because subconsciously they wish they were doing it. They were going off and visiting and filming places like that. So it was never for them. It was more for me. So that's why I never really take it too serious of what they say. If it's something super offensive, I just block them. I mean, there's no point arguing with a fool. A fool is somebody who argues with a fool. So if I'm going to be a fool and argue with them, that's my fault.
Right. Skylar's over just big smiling. He doesn't argue with fools either.
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point?
No one's gonna win. I mean, they're gonna win if you initiate the fight and keep going with it.
Yeah, because that's all they want. Yeah, that's what they want to begin with.
They want attention.
So let's all right. Let's go to the tough one. Let's go to the hard one. Let's talk about your last partner a little bit. I don't even know really the question that I really have about it, except that it sounded like it was a really shitty deal for your side. You kind of lost everything in that whole I don't know, transaction, or let's just say what it really truly is, the changing of passwords, basically.
Yeah.
You just kind of took everything. Once again, did that thicken your skin for the trust side of working with people and kind of learning what you should and shouldn't be doing in those situations?
Yeah, because there's a lot of snakes in the paranormal field. There's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing that will literally use you and abuse you until you don't know about it. And I've always been the type of person where I give, like, you know, like metaphorically speaking, you know, like give my shirt and my back for somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I was really trustworthy. I was in a really vulnerable spot when this happened because I was going through like a divorce and stuff. And so it would make me really vulnerable, and I was seeking comfort. And I guess like he found me in my vulnerable spot and took advantage of it because of how successful I was being. And at the time there wasn't so many people doing it that was getting a little bit more attention. So I think he saw that as an opportunity to take the shot. And I found out since I've dissolved my relationship with him, like he's also done it to 2 other people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So It's just something, a learning experience, because it's also made me not to trust everybody, because that's why I said earlier, we only talk to Paranormal Quest, the people on YouTube that we've collabed with, because they've been true friends. They've shown us all without an audience how true friends they are, that without the need for attention to show off, hey, I've done this for this person. Well, other people will say, hey, I shouted you out, or hey, I did this, when those people just want to use you for their 5 minutes of fame, or everybody's about followers and clicks and clickbait and stuff like that now anymore on YouTube. So it's just, you got to be a little bit more discerning on who you associate with, because there's so much drama in the paranormal that people don't know about, that like there's a lot of people, they complain about something stupid, like recently there's people charging for gas, because gas is stupid crazy right now. They're charging for gas for people to drive to the locations to give tours. So like people always are dramatic and or over dramatize those type of things on that.
They're putting a gas surcharge on that now.
Yeah, there's a few locations that are charging a gas fee for their tour guides to come and drive and give tours, and people in the paranormal just go crazy about it. It's just kind of like something you just gotta, people get too involved and too emotional about stupid stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. Because sometimes you have to put it off to the side.
Yeah, it's just being real. I mean, like, it's just, I don't like to sugarcoat anything. It's just like, that's just like what it is right now recently. So there's just a lot of people that you just got to be very careful who you work with. And I think since that experience I had with him, it's taught me to be a little bit more careful and not so open, kind to people, because I've always been a kind person where, like I said, I'll help somebody out, or I want to be really good friends with them. And he knew me like before the divorce thing was going on. So like he was the only person I talked to all the time as a friend, and knew a lot of things about me. So when it happened, he just changed the passwords on the show, and I stopped Paranormal Encounters for a few years because I was working with a distribution company for this that found me on YouTube, and they actually funded me money. And it was real at this moment where I felt like I had an opportunity that was coming my way, and I didn't want anything to stop it. And then I ended up hiring him to help me out with the pilot, because I didn't know anyone else at the time on YouTube that was doing decent quality and good stuff. And I just was a bad decision on my part, because I didn't really know the person. I only knew them mostly over the internet. It's just
Right.
something you have to be careful about. You can't have your heart on your sleeve kind of a thing with people anymore, with the paranormal at least.
Does that experience almost make you just want to quit investigating totally?
No, it just pisses me off. I have to be better than I was yesterday. That's just how I am. I mean, I use my anger and as motivation to give me a higher thinking into a drive. It creates a high drive. And it's just basically like, well, I'm just gonna make it better than just piss them off, or piss those people off because they did that to me. And it helps motivates me. It's not trying to be so much conceited. It's just a self-motivating drive factor for me. It's like, I will never step down lower than that moment I was then. I will always be higher, and I will always show them that these people made a mistake to ever cross me or anything like that kind of a thing. And that's how I think I've become successful in some stuff I've done. I've written 3 books in less than a year because I've set strict deadlines for myself, and I've become obsessive with what I do. And I think, I use my anger and convert it into a tool instead of a reaction. If that makes sense.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
So, I mean, and then that leads you into your investigations with India.
Mm-hmm.
And, you guys are putting out a steady flow of content, which I am really enjoying. But I mean, what's next? I mean, you guys keep doing the investigations. Are you gonna?
I asked myself that even recently, like how long until I retire, because this is 10 years since I've done my documentary, and I wanted to go back and actually shoot a final documentary at that school, because the owners they're getting older, and it's like 10 years now, and they're getting older, and they don't really want to own the location anymore. They want to retire because it's a super popular spot now. And I've always wanted to close it off on a good term, but not be totally away from it. But I don't know, I just keep going, I guess, until I die or something. I don't know. I don't know what's next. It's just basically I just go with the flow. What flows, and what crashes, and I'm just kind of like going with it until something happens. I'm just enjoying it because, like when it's with Indy and I, like couples go out to movies and things like that. And like, I find it as something special between Indy and I because we go to places and we experience something that's beyond our comprehension. And I find that extravagant. I don't know a word. I'm trying to think of a crazier word, but I can't think of one on top of my head. But it's like a special thing for me and her. So I enjoy doing it with her. And it's just our thing.
He just answered my next question, legitimately. So
Did I tell you guys I'm psychic too? I take readings.
Well, we're getting on about an hour and a half here. I think we need to wrap it up. I gotta send Chico home. He's been kind of hanging out.
I'm good.
I know that the Skylar has one big question he wants to ask you to kind of finish things out here.
The hardest question of all, that
the hardest question.
Oh boy.
When are you taking us ghost hunting?
When you guys are all in Indiana, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, when I go back to Indiana to visit or whatever, we can go ghost hunting. There's some place in Fort Wayne I've seen. Can't remember the name of it, but I never knew it was there. I wish I went. And there's also that Indiana Sanatorium that's somewhere in Indiana South, I think, that I really want to go. It looks freaking scary. It looks cool. So we go.
Look, man, I've been looking forward to this collab with you since we'd originally talked about it. And that was me and Dad were kind of talking about it a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, we should see if we can collab with him again if he's ever back up this way.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And we'd be totally down. So
yeah,
just let us know.
I was gonna say you guys could go to Alton, Illinois this weekend and see me, but I won't be there this weekend though, because I think they were supposed to do like some kind of ghost hunt afterwards too, which would have been cool. It was an event we were gonna go and attend to, but we couldn't make it. So
of course that'd be this weekend when we're gonna be in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, that would be, never mind. That wouldn't have worked anyways.
You go to Paranormal, like Paracon, I think is in Chicago in October, I believe. Do you go to those kinds of events?
To be honest with you, no. I've been to one, which I shouldn't say one. I've been to a few, but the last one I went to was the Las Vegas Paracon, and that was in 2014. I want to say 2013 or 2014. It's been a long time.
While.
Yeah, it's been a little while. But we just got invited recently to one of the biggest paranormal conventions, I think in Lexington, Kentucky. I think it's Lexington, Kentucky. That or Louisville. Either way, I'm going to check out Waverly Hills one there.
There you go. Go back to Waverly.
Yeah. But yeah, I do want to go to more events just to connect more with people because there's so many different people out now that are investigating. It's kind of cool to see all the different types of people that are doing it now that weren't doing it 10 years ago.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I know it's interesting to actually see you in person and talk to you in person after watching all these videos.
I know I'm a celebrity. I know.
It's insane. It truly is. It's what it feels like when you actually get to talk to somebody. You've watched all their, watch so many videos and stuff. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your evening to spend it with us here at United States Paranormal. And we would love to just hang out. We don't even have to go investigate, but if you're ever back and you want to go and I want to go walk around the dark with you. I don't know why, but I do want to do it.
Kind of a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Hey. Okay.
I feel like we're getting close here.
We are. India does say I'm a ghost magnet. So because we were having a lot of weird stuff happen a lot, like when I'm around. So maybe you'll have an experience. We can get some booze.
Oh, we can get some boozers. I'm telling you, You take Alicia with you, and I guarantee something's gonna happen. It just she is a magnet too for that.
Something will follow her home then. She won't want to have the experiences I had. I had knives crossed over and weird smiley faces in our mirrors in the bathrooms and stuff before from stuff following home.
Maybe if we're together, we'll just cancel each other out and absolutely nothing will happen. It'll be rainbows and butterflies.
Probably. Hopefully.
Oh, anybody else have anything they want to ask, Connor?
No, it's good to see you. I feel
It's
like I
good
haven't
to see
seen
you
you
too.
forever. And
I know, right? It's been a long time. I didn't get invited to the reunion.
Oh no!
I didn't even know that there was a reunion for a school, and I found out about it after. I was like, wow, I'm glad I got invited. I didn't want a weird ass guy there, I guess.
Well, who would have been in charge of that?
I don't know.
That's supposed to be Mr. Neil, by the way.
Oh, that's why. Well done, Neil. Thank you, Neil. Maybe it'll be the 20-year anniversary.
I'll make sure you get added to that group on Facebook.
Yeah, guys, I'm still here.
I haven't been sucked into a portal yet. Come on, I'd like to come to that.
Yeah, I do travel. I can come back to Indiana. Little old bourbon.
Little old bourbon. Hey, what an amazing little town, right?
Right.
Yeah. Alicia, will you take us out with our whatever we call them, our outros? Do you have our outros?
Plugs.
Our plugs? Whatever.
Yeah,
our
Connor,
plugs.
you can go ahead and plug some of your socials and your pages and your book and whatever you want to go ahead. Plug whatever you want.
All right. If people want to read the books and not put it down, if they don't want to throw it away, it's called Life with Paranormal Encounters. It's available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. If you want to watch the show, you can go to youtube.com/paranormal encounters and watch full episodes. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, where it's at official Paranormal Encounters, and Instagram is Paranormal Encounters TV, as well as TikTok is Paranormal Encounters TV.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time. Hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
Of course.
And
thank you.
yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. I know, look at Skylar. He's just so giddy.
Like I said, I've been looking forward to this for months. It is good seeing you, man. And
yeah, man, you too.
Keep up the great work. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I had a lot of fun. You guys asked some really cool questions that people don't ask me in podcasts and stuff. So it was like really refreshing to ask real questions and not like, have you ever been possessed or anything like that?
Hey, I do have one final question.
Yeah.
All righty, everyone. Well, thank you for listening to the United States of Paranormal. You can find us on all popular social media pages, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of the things. We do all the things. Do you want to give a little promo for the call, guys?
Who, me?
Who you? Well, who else?
Look, he's wearing his shirt. Yeah.
He's got a shirt.
Yes, go check out the Call Guys podcast. It's facebook.com/the Call Guys pod. You can get us anywhere you get your podcast.
And Jeremy, Skylar,
Golden Image podcast. You can also get that anywhere you get your podcast. We're the group that goes and does things so that you'll go do them too, because we want to get out. We want you to have adventures.
And if you like true crime, check out Murder Nerds with Ashley and I. We do true crime across the United States now, not just Indiana. We broadened.
It is now bigger and better.
Bigger and better than ever. All right, everyone. Until next time, see you on the other side.
To support other Golden Mojo Entertainment productions, check out Golden Image Podcast, The Call Guys, and Murd Nerds wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. To see photos and find new episodes of the United States of Paranormal, follow us on our social media. Twitter at TUSOPPOD, or Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and Facebook, the United States of Paranormal. If you have a place that you'd like us to look into, or would like to share your spooky story that we can read on the air, please email us at the United States of Paranormal at gmail.com.